I was musing really on what I could do to position and kick off this event. It's the topic being the managing innovation and change. What might be interesting or at least stimulating for the rest of the day, because we've got some very interesting speakers talking on a lot of range of subjects, which I think we need to listen to very carefully. One of the best parts of my job is I get to travel and work with an awful lot of companies. We're working at the moment in the US, in Canada, in South Africa, Australia, as well as India and Europe and the Middle East. All in service operations, generally, in captive organizations, BPOs, and also retained, and interestingly in the public and private sectors. So it's sort of quite a privileged position to see how the pressures of work and capacity and performance and quality and service, the nature of the offer, is evolving. So what I wanted to do is share with you 3 observations which I think say to me the world is moving profoundly for the BPO business, and this is the critical bit, the reasons why many companies have been extraordinarily successful over the last 10 years are absolutely not the reasons why they may be successful in the next 10 years. The critical bit being, amongst the change management experts would have us think about the reason for change, the means of change, but fundamentally it's the will. It's having the will that, I think there's books written about this, the burning platform, that makes the transition, pain, uncertainty worthwhile. And don't get me wrong here, I'm not trying to shroud wave, I'm just trying to stimulate you for the rest of the day in terms of thinking through some of the ideas so that you can carry it back and just challenge yourselves and your own organizations about, are you making the necessary adjustment? So if I can come, if you like, I've got 3 things I wanted to highlight. The first one is that the nature of the product, the proposition the BPO industry is being asked to provide is becoming profoundly more complex. The world of the straightforward capacity offer, the lift and shift, your mess for less, is changing. In the UK, there's been a huge ripple through the market because recently Diligenta TCS won a fantastic deal with an insurance company. But the critical thing about that offer was it was the platform. It was the environment that the outsourcer brought in which to do the work that was what the client was requiring. And this is the interesting bit for me. Several incumbents, several players in that market declined to offer because they didn't have anything in that space. So the implications for us are increasingly, as an outsourcer, you've got to make investment. You've got to think through what markets you want to be in, and you've got to speculate to put yourself in the place you want to play in. And if you don't, you may not even have the opportunity. Now, that's important in a couple of ways. Firstly, obviously, there's the whole investment risk, picking the right, backing the right horses. But there's also that underlying change in risk. In other words, clients now want you to take over the outcome risk. A lot of contracts now, and there's more about this later on, are based on per unit, some unit cost or outcome measure, and you have to carry the productivity risk. Now traditionally, and a lot of our contracts that we would all have at the moment, particularly in BPO, would be based around provision of heads. We've carried the risk of providing heads, but the client side actually carries the risk of using them properly. We've offered the labor arbitrage to lower the cost. Now, we have to manage that productivity risk. So it's us to squeeze out the performance of the business to lower the unit cost, because our profitability will depend on outcomes, not inputs. And let's be clear, that is a profound change.